The following is a presentation of DangerZone Productions.
Listen all you motherfuckers! Well, howdy, y'all. I'm Bum Billy, and I reckon y'all done entered the Danger Zone. And I'm here to tell y'all about one hell of a game. It's called Big Mother Truckers. It's got everything. It's got truck driving, beautiful women, beer drinking, and all things in between. It's got everything you need to have one hell-laced shindig. And I guarantee you're gonna love it. Alright, you know what? F*** this shit. It tastes like rubber breast implants. Okay. Costume aside, you've entered the Danger Zone. I'm Danny South. You know the shindig. Big Mother Truckers. Big Mother Truckers is a game that really doesn't know how to decide whether it wants to be an arcade-style truck driving game or if it wants to be an actual simulation of a truck driving game. It's really not sure what the f*** it wants to be honest with you. What it is, however, is a game that doesn't live up to the hype that it tried to generate. But hey, who could blame it with such great commercials for it like this one?
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Why you keep asking that? You're my cousin, not my daddy.
When redneck truckers get behind the wheel of big rigs, get out of the way.
Big Mother Truckers.
Yeah, you know, because when I think of a truck driving simulation game, I think of incest. Ew. Okay, so let's get on to the actual plot of the game. The idea is that Ma Jackson, no, not that Ma Jackson, this Ma Jackson, is the owner of her own truck driving industry, aptly called Big Mother Truckers.
So I'm gonna let one of you
How original.
kids have it instead.
But anyway, she's getting up in her years, so she decides to hang up her truck driving boots and retire.
60 days.
She decides she's going to give the company over to one of her 4 children, each one a different stereotype from the other. But she's not just going to, choose who would be the most responsible, most resourceful, and most qualified to take over the business. No. She thinks it'd be much more smarter to have a contest to decide who gets to have the business. So she tells her 4 kids to pack up their trucks and get on the road. Basically, whoever can make the most money in about, I think, 60 days wins the business. And that's the plot of the game. You're basically driving around, making deliveries, trying to get money. Basically, you're trying to buy low and sell high. Kind of like Walmart. Cha-ching. Let's take a look at the characters of this game. First, you've got Ruckus, who's kind of like the slicky kind of guy. Am I the only one who noticed he's the only black character in this game? But, hey, you never know. He could have been adopted. Truth be told, when I heard there was a character in this game called Ruckus, I was actually hoping it was going to be this Ruckus. But, wishful thinking, I guess. At least the game would have been a lot more funny that way. Then you've got Cletus, who is, well, I guess as close to that bum Billy character as I was trying to do. And then you got Bobby Sue, who's your Daisy Duke wannabe in this game. And then, last but not least, you got Earl. Yeah, Earl's a fat So, now that you got your stereotypes, you gotta pick one, of course. Once you pick one, you're able to not only pick your character, but also pick one of a couple of generic trucks to drive. But the best part of all is that's not the truck you have to stay with throughout the course of the game. You'll gradually start getting different upgrades, bigger containers to haul your cargo around in, different kind of things to make your truck stronger or just pimp it out. Most of this stuff is not as useful as you would think and really just stands to be there for making your truck look bling bling. Whenever you make a delivery, you'll want to stop at the local bar to try and find out what's in high demand, find out what you need to make the money. Because it's all about the money. And that's pretty much the plot of the game. You're just driving around, collecting stuff and using it to buy stuff and selling stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this game. Not much of it is interesting.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I'll tell you what you do get in this game. You get to listen to music. All of 5 radio channels. Yeah, you've got 5 radio channels. One of them, which I ended up listening to through the majority of my playthrough of this game, is a talk radio station. Why? Because it's probably got the funniest stuff you'll hear on it. I especially like the part about the doctor who claims he's discovered a new weight loss method that involves eating 1 egg for breakfast, 1 egg for lunch, and then eating magma for dinner. And it starts some whole scientific discussion on whether or not people should eat magma. Granted, it's not hilarious or anything, but, you know, it's fun to listen to. There's also a country music station that's, you know, got a couple of songs that definitely sounds like it should be in a truck driving game. And then, oddly enough, there's 2 dance stations that mainly has a bunch of British pop music that really doesn't have any business being anywhere near this game. Why is there British pop music, you may ask? What? Because it was a game developed by a British video game company, of course. Yeah, a British video game company developed an American truck driving sim. Yeah. I really wish I was making that up. And unfortunately, the crappy British pop music is not the only indication that British people had a hand in making this game. No, no, no. The fact that they have no f***ing clue how rednecks talk is another indication that this game was made by retarded people with bad teeth.
Nowhere is this more evident than in the very first cutscene of the game when Mama Jackson is talking to her kid. Not only does she not move her mouth at all, must be practicing her ventriloquist act, but I mean, just listen to her. Does anything she say sound like something a redneck woman would say? Does she even have an accent?
You can start by selling that load you've got on now, and you buy another one. You buy as cheap as you can, and you sell to get as much as you can.
If you're gonna make yourself a redneck trucking game, they ought to talk like they got a prosthetic pair of teeth in their mouth, so that you slur every other sentence and can't understand half the coming out their mouth. You know what I'm saying?
What the hell did you just say?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah!
Okay, I know I'm giving the voice acting in this game a lot of but to be honest, the voice acting is about the only thing as far as replay value that's actually worth a crap in this game. Each different character you choose will give different dialogue throughout the course of the game. And I have to admit, Cletus definitely has the closest thing to a redneck accent that you're probably going to hear in this game.
Howdy, pretty lady. Could I get me a beer? And, is there something else you'd recommend?
How about taking a bath sometime?
Oh, shoot. That ain't nice. Using bad cusses and all.
Oh, I'm just teasing, Toots. Here, have a beer. On the house. Next one's $80.
God, it's like Betty Boop ate a squeak toy and then tried to do a Jennifer Tilly impression. Now I know there's one thing you guys are wanting to know. How does it handle as far as control goes? Well, remember earlier when I said this game doesn't know whether it wants to be a truck driving sim or if it wants to be a arcade style game? Well, no more is that evident than in the way the friggin' controls work. You would think that a truck driving sim would constantly have you shifting gears and doing this, that, and the other. Well, it doesn't. To be honest, the gear shifting only has like 3 different levels, which the game probably reminds you to shift gears throughout the course of it, mainly while you're on the road. As far as obstacles in the game go, there are a few. For instance, you know, ramming into certain vehicles and will cause the police to come after you, in which case you got two choices. You can either try to destroy the popo, or you can try to lose them. Now, I don't know about you, but I honestly don't see how in the hell you're supposed to lose the police while driving a big rig. I mean, are these just the most incompetent police officers you can think of? What, did they get bored? Did they notice that it was all-you-can-eat night at Krispy Kreme? Another thing that'll get on your nerves real fast are these biker. These guys were the most annoying thing on the face of the earth when I played this game. If you piss off bikers, they're not just going to run you down. No, they're going to jump on board your rig and try to jack your shit. This is unbelievably annoying, considering you got the choice of either ramming their bikes and taking them out, which I have to admit is immensely satisfying and a little funny. But if they climb on board your rig, you got to shake yourself back and forth, and chances are you're probably going to run into another car and then get the police coming after your ass, as well as the bikers. And unfortunately, if the bikers make it to your cab, guess what? You can kiss whatever stuff you were hauling goodbye. However, I'm still trying to find out logic when it comes to a bunch of people climbing on board a big rig and somehow stealing your entire load while still on board the rig. But I guess that's where the realism in the game kind of comes short, you know? Something else that always bugged the shit out of me, and I know this is just me nitpicking, but I just feel like I need to complain about this. In the trailer and in the opening cinematic, you notice that the big rig is actually seemingly jumping through midair, making you think there's some kind of jumped area you can go to. Well, guess what? There's not.
What the hell did you just say?
There's not. You guys gotta admit, being able to jump over canyons in a big rig would probably be one of the highlights of the game. But once again, game designers take away what could be a fun aspect of a video game and instead replace it with a bunch of boring stuff. If you're interested, from time to time you can go to the bars and get little random missions to help you get some extra cash in order to buy some more stuff for your rigs. These missions vary from destroying cars to taking things to other places in a certain amount of time. Stuff like that. Little stuff. I find the destruction things are more fun, mainly because I hate being timed, especially when it's a race. You guys already know my take on racing games. And yet, despite all the problems and things that I've described about the game, surprisingly, this game still has quite the following. In fact, it apparently had enough of a following back when it first came out for there to be a sequel. Yeah, that's right, a sequel. Big Mother Truckers 2, Truck Me Harder. Still going with the sex innuendos, huh? Way to go, UK. Way to go. But as far as Big Mother Truckers goes for this guy, I think I'll pass. If I want to play a game where I can drive a big rig like a crazy person whacked out on beer and meth, I think I'll just stick with Saints Row 2. Thanks for joining me here at the Danger Zone. I'm Danny South, and I'm getting the truck out of here.